Hey everyone, Pete Calandra here. A couple of weeks ago on my Facebook feed, a memory photo showed up from, I'm not sure if it was 1984 or 1985, but basically it was of the cast from Little Shop of Horrors, which was a show that I was in at that time, along with the then mayor of New York City, Ed Koch. And what this was a charity event called the Inner Circle Roast, or maybe the Mayor's Inner Circle Roast. And this is something that happens every year where the mayor, along with one of the currently running Broadway or off-Broadway shows, puts on an event where all of the media correspondents that cover the mayor and other New York City government get roasted. And it's a big charity event, and it's covered by the local media. And I think I've done it twice. Definitely did it more than once. I don't think I did it 3 times. I did it twice. On this photo, which you're about to see, and a year or 2 later. When I look through this photo, I see a lot of people that I've been friends with that whole time, and some people I've been out of touch with. When you are a performing artist, you develop a very intimate relationship with the people that you're performing with. They're trusting you to be open and vulnerable, and you are there holding on to them and giving them the support they need and really playing with them, sort of trying to envelop them with something that they're comfortable enough with that they can give a really great performance. And you do this for months, years, and you develop a very close bond with people, and that bond stays with you long after the show is closed. As a matter of fact, there are many people on that photo that I see a couple of times a year during regular non-COVID times. We have meetups in New York City, and other people that I've visited when I was out in California, because many of the cast now live in California. Additionally, I'm friends with many people on Facebook. We've had Zoom meets where we've gotten together with 30 or 40 people. When we get together, it's like no time has passed. You know, we're just friends. We sort of pick up with where we left off the day before. The other thing that's really poignant about this photo is seeing some of the people who are no longer with us. You'll see in the photograph, Five-ish Finkel. Five-ish Finkel had a long career in the Yiddish theater, and he was in Little Shop of Horrors for most of the run playing Mr. Mushnik. After the run of the show was concluded, he went on to have a very long and successful career on television. He was in a bunch of television shows, and it was really amazing to see. Another person, sadly, who is no longer with us was the great Howard Ashman, who was the director and lyricist and wrote the book for the show. Howard directed the Little Shop of Horrors film that was produced by David Geffen, and then, along with Alan Menken, created Beauty and the Beast, as well as The Little Mermaid for Disney. He sadly passed away in the winter of 1991 from AIDS-related complications, and it was a great loss to his family, but also to the artistic community in general, because the guy was brilliant and he was still very young and had so much ahead of him. Fast forward to about 2012, I started releasing my own albums. In promoting my albums and trying to get my music out there, I've met a lot of really interesting people. Some of these people have specialty shows that run once a week on college stations or public radio stations all across America. One of these people that I really became good friends with was a man named Scott Raymond. Scott had a radio program on WVKR FM, which is the college radio station of Vassar College in the Hudson Valley of New York. Scott started playing my music, and as I was just down in New York City at that time, I had sort of struck up a friendship with him. We'd passed emails around, and eventually he invited me to take a drive up and be on his show. He interviewed me and let me play some piano there, and it was a great time. I was on his show a few times. His show, Secret Music, was a really interesting radio broadcast that was on Sunday mornings from 9 until noon, and he had run this show for 30 years. He championed all sorts of offbeat and interesting electronic, ambient, neoclassical, new age music, stuff that you wouldn't find on your normal radio shows. It was sort of like a less commercial version of Echoes by John D. Liberto. A few years ago, Scott emailed me and let me know that he was going to be ending his involvement with the show. He felt like he'd been there for a long time and he had other things that he wanted to do. He asked me if I would perform on his last show, which was really fantastic. I went down, we had an interview. I stayed for about 45 minutes. His show went long that day. I think it went to 1 or 2 o'clock almost. But I went down, I played, we talked, he played some of my music. I was sad to see him go, but as we lived fairly close to each other, because I did move up into the Hudson Valley at that point, I figured that we'd still get together and hang out. Sadly, though, that was not meant to be. A few months after his last broadcast, he went to sleep one night and didn't wake up. And he was still in his 50s. He was very young. He was fairly healthy. I don't know what happened. Today's video is one of the performances I did at his show. I asked him this day to pick 3 musical pitches and that I would improvise a piece for him. He came up with the notes E, B, and C. So I sat down and improvised this piece. I played this live on the Nord Electro that you see pictured here, but I also recorded the MIDI into Pro Tools, and I came back and I'm using Native Instruments Noir to play this piece, and there's some treatment with reverb and stuff inside of Pro Tools. My main point of this rap at the beginning is cherish your friendships. If you're a musician and you start performing with people, cherish those relationships. Really work at making them the best they can be. Experience everything you can with these people, because you may wake up one day and they might not be there anymore. Anyway, this video is a tribute to all the people that I've worked with that are no longer here. If you like this video, give a thumbs up. For more content, please subscribe, and to be notified, ring that bell. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get right into it.